to the perspective. I'm C Towns alongside Nate G, Mr. Ed. Big question. Win or lose? I want to know your answer if they win or if they lose. Does Tom Brady retire?
No. Not at all.
Nate G, go ahead, let us know.
Tom Brady, the way that he is playing, he is still playing at an all-time high. This will be his 9th Super Bowl in the last 18 years. So literally half of his career. I thought about this the other day. Literally half of Tom Brady's prolific Hall of Fame, amazing career. He has been in the Hall of Fame for half of his career in the NFL. He is, and the AFC Championship game was his 8th straight. Like, Tom Brady, literally, like, and I know the cliche. I know the cliche is Father Time is undefeated, but not for Tom Brady. He's 41 years old. Will Father Time eventually catch up to him?
So win or lose?
Win or lose,
come back.
Win or lose, he's going to come back.
Okay.
I can see this man literally playing for at least until he's 45 years old. I can see him playing for another 4 years, especially now with how the rules are. How the rules are so heavily favored towards the offense, towards the quarterback, the receivers. You know what I mean? And the rules are so heavily against the defense. That's another reason why I think he's going to play for another 4 years, at least until he's 45. Even after this season, even after this Super Bowl, whether he wins or loses, I wouldn't be surprised if he made it at least to another 2 Super Bowls. I mean, as long as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are playing together, it's the best. It's the best quarterback head coach tandem, not only in just football, but probably in all of sports. We've never seen a head coach and a.
I don't know if I can say all sports, but go ahead.
I think you can make the argument. I'm not saying that it's set in stone, but I'm saying it's.
So we just gonna take away MJ and Phil.
And we're gonna take away Auerbach and
they have more championships.
Well, all right. Well, MJ, Michael Jordan has 6, and if Tom Brady wins this, he'll have 6 as well.
But also, too, MJ's never lost in the finals.
Okay, and then you got 11. How many straight for Boston?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Bill Russell.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Leave it at football.
All right.
It's football.
I'm trying to figure out why I always got to school the young buck.
Wait, school young buck.
Okay.
All right. Well, as far as football goes,
okay.
Football. There you
go. But yes, y'all both just laid out cases. But I'm sure there's people out there that'll probably be like, I don't care, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is the best.
New England fans, but
but yeah. I mean, I can see Tom Brady playing until at least 45. I can see him getting to at least another 2 more Super Bowls before he hangs it up. Yes. Okay, so the 3 of us can agree that this is the best head coach and quarterback tandem of all time.
History,
yeah, NFL history. Yeah. So
go ahead, Mr. Ed.
All right. That being said, I think if they win, I think it's automatic they come back. If they lose, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that, because it was rocky all of the offseason before the season started.
And they still got back to the Super Bowl, brother.
You start hearing murmurs about people not being happy. Tom Brady not being happy with Belichick, Belichick not being happy with Brady. 2 losses in a row in the Super Bowl. I don't know if they, somebody might not come back. You know, I don't know if it's
a long-term.
Now, that being said, I don't think Brady wants to retire.
It's a long-term relationship. They've been together how many years together? 20 years?
Listen,
in 20 years, you're going to have fights. You're going to have miscues. You're going to have arguments. You're not going to be on the same page.
Montana eventually left San Francisco. I didn't think that would happen. He was still able to play. Matter of fact, when he went to the Chiefs, he was still putting it up. I'm just saying.
All right.
He came back on the Eagles one time.
Both
down who knows how much and threw like 5 touchdowns on
both of you guys' perspective is good, but I feel like y'all are trying to look at it through Tom Brady's eyes. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give an answer from a fan side. The fan side of me, what if he wins the Super Bowl?
Sure.
As a fan, I want him to retire.
Okay.
Because I'm tired. I don't want to see a quarterback of his stature have to digress to have to retire. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see him go on a slump and then say, all right, I think I'm done now.
Michael Jordan.
Why not go out on top? I'd rather him go out with a bang. Because, I mean, you want to bring up the sports in it? I'm not gonna lie to you. To this day, I still don't like how Kobe Bryant had to retire. Kobe, oh man, I respect the hell out of Kobe. But could you imagine if Tom Brady won this Super Bowl and then just...
So you think Tom Brady...
As a fan...
You think there's a possibility that Tom Brady might fall off a cliff?
No, but it may not be next year. It may not be the year after.
He doesn't want.
I don't want that to happen.
You don't want to see the possibility of it happening.
Basically, you don't want what we saw in Washington. Not even just Kobe. Jordan in D.C. as a Wizard.
Just imagine.
He's still kind of balled out.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
He wasn't. He
didn't go out on top though.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Imagine. Let's be real. He wins the Super Bowl, wins Super Bowl MVP, and he says at the podium, "I officially retire on top." Nobody would ever come close to being the GOAT to overthrow him. But to win his 6th Super Bowl ring.
But bro, Tom Brady, bro, is so competitive. We've never seen a quarterback that's been this competitive. And he's already, Tom Brady has already said publicly.
You're arguing something that I'm saying. I'm talking about as a fan. I'm not talking about what he wants to do. I'm saying as a fan, I would love to see him
as a fan, C-Towns are going to be disappointed, bro.
But as a fan,
they're going to be disappointed.
Just as a fan, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to see him. I wouldn't want to see
him go prematurely.
No, I wouldn't want to see.
There's no such thing as prematurely.
Not at this point.
Look how he's playing.
I wouldn't want to see him play until he couldn't play anymore.
Exactly.
But as a fan, I am curious to see
if he can still continue to be great.
How long he can
still continue this pace. Yeah, and I'm the same way.
But I think what happens is when you talk about Father Time and it
just punches you.
It's one day. It's just one day. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
You know.
How would you feel if week 8? Either next year or the year after,
we saw
middle of the season, and Tom Brady just doesn't look. Because let's be real,
we saw it with Peyton Manning.
A couple of games this year, Tom Brady did not look like Tom Brady.
But we saw it with Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
The year after he throws 50 touchdowns and all that.
wrench in his career.
Yeah. The next year, you saw it. He just couldn't get it done. He couldn't even throw the ball.
He had that neck issue, though. He had that neck issue. He had that neck issue.
He played a few years.
Neck surgery and all that.
No, he still played a few years after that.
Yeah, but neck surgery is neck surgery. Neck surgery is still neck surgery.
Super Bowl, MVP, threw for 50 touchdowns, all of that with that same injury or neck surgery. My point is, there was a time when he could do it, and then he just couldn't.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was week 1. Yeah. It was middle of the season. He just couldn't get it done anymore.
And you watched that, and it was sad.
And let's be real,
it was sad to see, right?
To keep it all the way 100, Tom Brady had a couple games this year to where it looked like he didn't have enough power on the ball to be able to throw. Some of his interceptions were just underthrown.
That Pittsburgh game.
Exactly, and I don't.
When they threw it down the sideline and it was intercepted.
It was intercepted because they didn't have enough power. Yeah. I would like to see Tom Brady retire if he wins right now on top. Because because let's be real, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, his highlight would still be, he retired after winning the Super Bowl.
That being said, as an old head, and I've watched many of them, because the majority of players play until they can't play, right? So I've watched several of them. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, though, as a fan, you rarely remember. It rarely, after a certain time goes, you don't remember that drop off. When I remember Terry Bradshaw, I grew up a fan of Terry Bradshaw. So when I grew up watching Terry Bradshaw, I saw his last game. His arm went out. It just he could do it until he couldn't do it anymore. His arm just went out. He couldn't do it, and he was done. But when I remember him, I don't really remember him in that old guy throwing his last pass.
Right. You still remember from his greatness.
I remember him.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that's for everybody, though, because I got two players for a great example for you.
Go ahead. I'm here.
When we talk about the greatest running backs of all time, who's in that conversation?
Barry Sanders.
Now, hold on. Barry Sanders is the key point of this. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he went out on top. Megatron.
There's nowhere negative in Barry Sanders. When people argue with you, Barry Sanders could have did it for 5 more years. There's no arguing that he couldn't because he didn't have a bad season.
No, he didn't. He didn't have. He went out. He
went out on top. Now, granted, it was due because Detroit wasn't trying to win. And the same thing with Megatron.
Yeah.
When people look, like Megatron has stats, that him and Barry have stats that are unbelievable, and they did not play a full career. But you will never hear anything negative about Megatron or Barry Sanders because they went out on top, never had a bad year. It's just nothing negative you can say. And that's the way I look at it.
For 18, 19,
and don't get me wrong, it sucked to have both of them retire early. As fans, we were mad as hell. Listen, but now I look at it, I'm older, I'm like, you know what? Because let's be real, Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, retires, it will suck because we will never see anything like that again. But to say we lived to see the greatest quarterback come in, he came in with a bang and left with a bang.
My two favorite NFL running backs to speak to that retired early: Jim Brown and Barry Sanders.
And both nothing negative that you can ever say about either one.
Nothing. They both left
and it sucked when they left.
Yeah.
But let's be real. To just say, yo, Tom Brady came in underrated. Yeah. Almost didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
To win his 6th Super Bowl ring, 41 years old, and then retired.
Replaced the injured Pro Bowl player.
Drew Bledsoe, that was just in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As a fan, I would be mad because I would never see Tom Brady again. But that would still be the highlight of everyone's. Whenever you think of the GOAT, you would think of Tom Brady because there's nothing negative that you could think or say about Tom Brady if he retires on top. That's me as a fan.
Sure.
As a player, as him, I don't see him wanting to retire.
No.
But as a fan, I would not mind if he left because that would be crazy.
Right. But so what Mr.
Drop the mic moment.
Yeah.
Right. But to what Mr. Ed said, yeah, you're not gonna remember like most great players. You don't remember like the cliff or like at the end when they weren't playing as well as they were for the majority of their career. Especially Tom Brady, the best quarterback of all time with all the records and everything. We're not gonna remember that. Like Tom Brady.
You do though, because I can name a player right now that to me stayed in too long. Sean Alexander.
Yeah, but Sean Alexander and Tom Brady. Like that's my point, bro. That's my point. Like
still stayed in too long. There's a lot of players that stayed in way too long.
As great as Tom Brady is, bro, nobody's gonna remember if he. I don't even think we're just. Well, you're saying that you don't want to take the possibility of seeing him
because all right. What I mean by negative, I'm not saying that you name a player and yes, you will remember the greatness, but when you have those debates with someone. To say, nah, he's the best. He did better than him. And then you look up stats and you're like, look, he had a bad year these 2 years. That comes up.
And that's what I have to say that honestly, I don't see Tom Brady having a bad year.
So
I don't see it. No. So if Tom Brady retires, it's going to be, I think, because he's no longer reaching the Super Bowl. Like that's the hype.
But the only way they don't reach the Super Bowl is if his production comes down.
Yeah, his production is going to come down. But
it's not about personnel around him because he's played with any and everybody.
His production is going to come down, but I don't think it's going to come down enough to where it's like everybody and their mom is like, yo. Tom Brady is no longer Tom Brady. Tom Brady needs to hang it up right now. It's going to be, I don't know.
Long enough, it happens to them all.
Yeah,
he's able to do it a little longer. Bernard Hopkins was able to do it a little longer than most boxers. He's able to do it a little longer than most football players.
But it's still going to come.
Jerry Rice. When's
it gonna come?
Jerry Rice was able to do it, but it happened. Question, but it's gonna happen. If he's not God, it's gonna happen. I'm just hoping he leaves out before it comes.
I'm saying I think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in the sense of that he looks completely like the opposite of what he's been throughout his whole career. I think he's going to fall back to a certain degree where he doesn't reach the Super Bowl every year.
Let's just go with the top performers who played 20 years, a minimum of 19, 20 years, right? Which in pro sports there's only you only made a few. And I can name some of them who had 17, 18 years. Which is still amazing. That's a long career. 17 to 18 years at the top of their game. And then they weren't. At this, they like, how does Jerry Rice as a wide receiver have 17, 18 years of phenomenal football at that position? Unheard of. Roy Green as a cornerback. 20 years as a cornerback, and as guys were getting, he was fast, and guys were getting faster and faster. But at one point,
can you really? But those players that you're thinking about, can you really compare those players to the most important position in all of sports, the quarterback position?
We're talking about.
It's the most greatest. Can we at least agree on that? Can we at least agree that the quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports?
We're talking about
the ball is in your hands, literally every possession.
All of sports.
Wow.
Football.
What's more important?
I was saying football.
What's more important in the quarterback position? With the ball's in your hands every possession, you dictate every play on offense, not defense, but offense.
You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, as a quarterback, it's players that are around you that don't need to touch the ball to support you. And as far as O-line.
And basketball,
you got to be able to
basketball.
You got to be able to have that pocket mobility. Like Tom Brady, you got to be able to have that pocket mobility. You got to be able to maneuver.
Basketball players play offense and defense.
Yeah, basketball plays offense and
defense. So you don't think the quarterback position is the most important?
No, I don't.
Wow.
Because he can have great quarterback
Patrick Mahomes
and your team still lose.
Patrick Mahomes would have 50 points and still lost. What are you saying?
Now it's all people.
That doesn't mean that the quarterback position, in my opinion, is still not the most important. Just because
your quarterback balls out of control like that, he's the most important position on the field.
You should be winning.
He should be winning.
But why didn't they win? Because of their defense.
And he outplayed Tom Brady.
I said offense. I said
no. You just said key position.
You can't control the defense.
But in basketball, you can. That's why we're saying that
Jordan was leading the league in scoring and the top defensive player.
That's what I'm saying.
Was leading the league in scoring and the top defensive player.
You can't mix sports because at the end of the day, basketball, Jordan was a great offensive player and a great defensive player. Tom Brady is a great offensive player, but nobody wants to see him on defense. All right, stop.
All right, I'm just speaking offensive.
All right, think of football. Don't mix it. You can't mix that.
People love to have that. Make that.
No. I'm saying no. I'm saying offensively. I feel like because the ball is in your hands, literally
basketball
every possession.
As a point guard, you touch the ball more than anything.
The ball starts with you every single possession. The ball starts in your hands every single offensive possession.
And how many times
it starts in the center's hand?
Yeah, that is true.
And then he has to give it. He has to give it to the offensive player.
And the quarterback does what with the ball most times? Gives it to another player.
Yeah,
he gets the ball.
You got to be able to give it off cleanly.
Scoring a touchdown.
He gives the ball given to him, and then he gives it to a running back or a wide receiver.
So what do you think is the second most important offensive
in football? It's the most. It's put it like this: quarterback is the biggest position in football. Just leave it at that. Don't mix it.
I feel it's the most important.
I've heard that before. I've disagreed with
I can't agree with that. But Tom
You guys are in the minority. I can just tell you that right now. Y'all are in the minority.
Tom Brady, me as a fan, I hope he retires if he wins the Super Bowl. I really do. Because it would be no other way, like you said, to drop the mic, winning his 6th Super Bowl ring at the age that nobody thought he could do it. Just walk out. Fade to black.
Hard to do, though.
It is hard.
About athletes, as long as you can do it the year before, it's hard for them to, like you said, we've only named a couple that were able to do it. For the most part, all the great ones, right, keep playing until they're no longer great. That's just the way it is. They play until they're no longer
I'm sorry, the only negative thing that people could say about Barry Sanders and Megatron was that they retired too early.
Yeah.
You couldn't say that for Tom Brady if he retired after the Super Bowl and they won. Because he's already beating every quarterback.
Yeah, and he's 40-something years old, and he's where most quarterbacks should have been retired.
Started his career winning the Super Bowl, and his career winning the Super Bowl. Greatest thing ever.
I think he's going to get back there after the season. I really do. All right. Mr. Anderson Towns, do y'all think there's a possibility that Tom Brady gets back to another Super Bowl after this one?
It's always possible. He's in like.
All right. Do you think? Do you think he will? Do you think? Okay. Do y'all think he will?
Since he's been in.
Do y'all think he will? Do y'all think he will?
And the odds are in his favor so far. Yeah. I mean,
same. But so there's no reason for him to retire.
Look at some of the other teams.
So there's no reason for him to retire
that were giving him trouble. I mean, look at the Chiefs.
The Chiefs already signed. Was it Spagnuolo as a defensive coordinator?
Yeah. The Chiefs made. Listen. It ain't like he stomped on the Chiefs through getting there. He barely won that one.
Yeah. But also, too, look, Tom Brady will always be in the conversation going to the Super Bowl because, again, the AFC,
East. It's terrible.
AFC East has been just trash.
It's so
I
terrible.
felt like
So
they paid
terrible.
off the Dolphins, Jets, and Bills since he's been in
So
the league.
terrible.
They haven't done anything. He's won the most division titles.
Like he had no other divisional quarterback to compete with all those years.
Exactly.
Not one.